This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Athletics.
Leaping at the wall, it's gone! A towering drive into center field by Rooker.
And 29 other MLB clubs.
A judgy blast. All rise. Here comes the judge.
Swung on, hit high, hit deep to right, away back into the second deck.
Bobby Witt Jr. becomes the first shortstop in Major League history to have two 30-30 seasons.
Shohei Ohtani starts the 50-50 club.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe, from humidors to walk-off dingers to Hall of Fame talk. We have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of A's Cast Live. Getting you ready for the Athletics and the Texas Rangers. Not only here on YouTube and on X, but also you can hear us on 650 KSTE, also the Bull down in Las Vegas on HD2, and on the A's radio network. And, of course, streaming athletics.com/A'sCast. And just hit play, and you can listen anywhere in the world. Commander Cody, we have a great show for you today. Tyler Ferguson is going to join us after BP. We'll talk to him. He's off to a very good start. And then I got to tell you, this is going to go down as one of the better interviews we've done this year. Darren Bush, bench coach, director of hitting, stopped by the set here earlier. Very, very busy man, so we don't get him often. Means a lot to this organization. And when you talk about just a baseball high-level interview on stuff that we talked about from the standpoint of how hitting has changed, how information has changed, how to teach players. Also got into being a bench coach. He's been here for 20 years. He was a manager in the minor league system for the Athletics. He's done everything. He's been a bullpen coach, so he's learned the pitching, which has helped him as a hitting coach and the director of hitting. I mean, wow, it's a high-level baseball organization. We start talking about the neuroscience of what is going on, like of what we're starting to learn about what the eye see in your brain, the computer, and what it tells your body to do. We always focus so much just on the physical, but really a lot of hitting. What's your eye seeing? What is your brain? What's going on? So we talked a lot about that too. So a really high-level baseball conversation at 5:10. And then David Forst will stop by at 5:30 to general manager. He's got a new toy to unveil. Happy Nick Kurtz Day.
I know, it's very exciting. He's in the lineup hitting seventh and playing first base.
Seventh?
Sorry, did I spoil a surprise?
He's hitting seventh.
But yeah, he's here batting seventh. Two of our guys are back too.
He could be your best hitter. Why is he hitting seventh?
Well, it's early. It's early in his career.
Oh,
let him get his feet wet.
You and your everything's early guys.
Let him get his feet wet, then you can move him up in the order.
Yeah, we got a lot of business to get into. Nick Kurtz is here. Your guy Grant Holman, the Cal Bear, is back. I like a lot Hogan Harris. I love me some Hogan Harris.
I'm glad that both those guys are back.
Max Muncy back to Las Vegas. Jacob Lopez back to Las Vegas. And Jose Leclerc walked off the mound yesterday after getting only one out. He has a lat strain. He will go on the IL.
Yeah, disappointing. I mean, you expected more out of Leclerc, a guy he spent $10.5 million on, but hopefully it's just a 15-day stint on the IL with the lat strain, and he's back, and he gets back to form like he was a couple years ago for the Rangers. But having Grant Holman back, who was pitching well again in Las Vegas, like he tends to do, which is surprising because a lot of pitchers don't pitch well in Vegas. It's been great for Holman to be back, and now Hogan Harris as well, on top of Nick Kurtz being here and in the lineup.
Hogan Harris can be that bridge guy out of the bullpen. Hogan Harris could be a starter for you, because last time we saw him start a game, he dominated the Houston Astros. Let's not forget, Grant Holman could be a great, until Ohtani shows back up. We got Tyler Ferguson coming here today, adding another big power arm. Even though for as big he is, he doesn't have the velocity you think he would have, but he's still got a power arm. And you start thinking about Ferguson, you start thinking about Grant Holman getting the ball to hopefully Mason Miller a little bit more. But when you're being outscored at home 70-38, that's a problem. But we're not going to start there. We're not going to start with problems. We're going to start with what we are excited about. And I was thinking about this last night after all of you left, and I'm just sitting here. It's just me and the callers at 833-625-2278. And I was thinking, today could be the start of something really, really special. As if you ever come see us here at the ballpark in West Sacramento, where we have our set, this is where we do A's Cast Live. This is where we do A's Cast on NBC. Right on the wall behind us are the retired numbers. Reginald Martinez Jackson, Ricky Henderson, Dennis Eckersley, Raleigh Fingers, Catfish Hunter. There's a pillar there, so I got to look
Stewart.
around. Is Dave Stewart?
Dave Stewart's next to Raleigh Fingers.
Okay, yeah. So Dave is,
Or as you know him, Roland Fingers.
it's my good friend Raleigh. He calls me on landlines. Dave is actually directly behind the pillar, so I can't. So I can see Catfish. I can't. But you know what I'm getting at? They're all-time greats, and it's been a while since we've had an all-time great. I don't think the A's, since moving west, and they didn't have it in Kansas City either, because Roger Maris got traded. Because the whole story is my grandfather managed the Kansas City Athletics. And the year that my grandfather was managing the A's in 1960 was the year Roger Maris got traded. So when my grandfather pulled up to Kansas City, Charlie Finley had told him, I just traded your best player to New York. Welcome to being man. So, the relationship between Charlie Finley and my grandfather, Bob Elliott, look it up, did not go very well.
Well, when you trade your best player away, it's like that welcome to the NFL, welcome to the league, or welcome to the NFL rookie or thing they do on ESPN. That's kind of what they did for
the drafts in Green Bay. How awesome is that? Green Bay. If you've never been to Green Bay, what's today?
Wednesday.
Yeah, it's Thursday.
Yeah,
it's draft
tomorrow,
first round. Green Bay is the equivalent of like Fenway Park, Wrigley Field. And I think it's even better. It's the best sporting experience. And I'm more a baseball guy. I value my time in the NFL. I loved working for the Raiders. I am a baseball guy. But I do think, and I've been to Fenway, I've been to all the baseball stadiums. By far, Green Bay is the best sports experience I've ever had. Their Hall of Fame inside Lambeau Field, you feel like you're in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Just not the Packer Hall of Fame, the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
They've had a lot of
insane.
I mean, there's been a lot of historic players that have played for that franchise.
And they've bought up all the property around, because years ago it was just all these little houses around.
It was like in the middle of a neighborhood, right?
It is, but they bought up all those little houses, tore them down, and they've got bars, restaurants, Top Golf is there. It's crazy. It's crazy. But when I was there, I was in shorts and a polo. It was the start of the season. I was not there for the frozen tundra. I was in Green Bay. It was 70 degrees.
You weren't there for Packers Lions in November?
It was beautiful. I was in a Raiders polo on the sidelines and shorts, watching Aaron Rodgers rip us apart. And I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever been a part of.
Yeah. Well,
I was not there at minus 30 below and the whole different.
Probably best for you.
But I was thinking about it. Speaking of legendary Packers or legendary A's, when's the last time we've truly had a great player that was this organization's, that stayed here? You can make up all the excuses you want. Ricky Henderson got shipped out, came back, shipped out, came back. McGuire was traded. Canseco was traded. Reggie, obviously the issues. Free agency. That great team in the 70s. I think Kansas. I mean, you got to go back to Philadelphia to when you've had a guy because you're so lucky as a fan base if you're ever able to get a player who can be because most franchises don't have it. These guys don't grow on trees. And I understand the fan base used to say, well, we give our players away. Well, you know what? Most of those players weren't worthy of being around forever, and it was smart to get rid of them. I mean, how many guys ever really left the A's? You went, oh, my God, they went on to be a Hall of Famer. They had the career. I mean, it just doesn't happen.
There's not many.
Not many.
Especially in the last 20 to 25 years.
You really don't want players after the age of 30. Guys, I'm telling you, you're experiencing it. I've already experienced it. You're experiencing it now. You don't get better as you get older.
So, well.
You don't.
What do you mean? I'm aging great now that I've lost weight.
Yeah.
My entire.
Trust me, your testosterone, you just wait. Things are changing.
I'm only 36. I'm not 40 yet.
Yeah, things change. Yeah, so paying guys in their 40s is dumb. But if you do get a special player that you can call your own, right? That you go to Baltimore and you see a Cal Ripken statue. right? You go to you go to San Francisco and you see Willie Mays. You go to San Diego, you see Tony Gwynn. You see, you go to Minnesota and you see Kirby Puckett statues. These guys are rare. Most guys will play for multiple teams, but to get a guy that potentially could be a type of great, where you're talking more than 10 years, could it be 15, 16, 17, 20? I don't know. But Nick Kurtz and obviously Jacob Wilson, but today is Kurtz's day. This is the potential to have somebody that's an A's player for a long, long time who could be up with Reggie and Ricky and Eck and Fingers and Stu and Catfish. That's what you could be seeing today, a start of that kind of career. He's 6'5", he's big, he's talented, he's got the mental side, he rakes, he understands the strike zone, he can play defense. You could be looking at a perennial all-star. You could be looking at a guy who could win multiple MVPs. You could be looking at a guy who you're retiring his jersey someday. And it all starts today. Enjoy, because I've taken a million phone calls over the years complaining about it. Well, this might be one of those guys that really warrants it, that really warrants that attention to be that guy who's so super special that he is somebody that you will call a franchise all-time great, and a franchise that has a long list of Hall of Famers since 1901, long list of championships. This could be the newest version. Could be something really special that could be debuting today. In the 7 hole, mind you, he won't be hitting 7 for long.
Well, I did the deep research this morning because I was curious, where did he mainly bat for Vegas? In the 20 games he played this year for Fran Riordan and Vegas, he had 10 games in the 2 spot and 10 games in the 3 spot. That's it. He batted in the 2nd or 3rd spot in the lineup all year for Vegas.
He didn't bat in the 7 hole?
No, he wasn't leading off either, which would be kind of interesting.
This kid is going to hit 3rd or 4th. You're not going to put him – you would not put him 2nd.
No.
He doesn't run well enough. That is the whole thing about when you talk about lineup construction. The higher you hit in the order, the more at-bats you're going to get. I understand that. But it's kind of like your guy Juan Soto. Or, Michael, you don't like Juan Soto? Michael's got a mic today. Say hello, Michael. You got a mic today.
Hello, everyone.
How are you?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
You don't have a problem, since he left your Yankees, me now calling him Juan Soto, right?
I love it.
Okay.
Jaded Yankee fan.
Very jaded Yankee fan.
He's earned it.
Yeah. So it goes back to Jack Cust. It goes back to Brandon Belt. It goes back to these guys where fan bases sit here and they go, look at him, how much he walks. Yeah, but when you're a slug, I can't score you.
You can't go a show without bringing up Jack Huss or Derek Barton.
You just can't. I didn't bring up Barton
yesterday.
But what good is it? He walks. He gets on base. It doesn't matter because he doesn't score because I can't score him.
Yeah, that's
where it's overrated. And you're going to be like, you could never say to the Mike Petriellos in the world, and we love them, the analytics guys, and I like myself some analytics. I've been delving in some new ones, by the way. But anyway, if you get on first base and you're a slug and I need to do some really great things to get you home, that's a problem. It's great that you're on base, but I can't have a slow guy. Like slow guys are not, they don't do a lot for you on the base pass. So that's where you might say, well, he's going to walk a lot. Great, but I want him walking a lot. I want him driving in runs. 3rd or 4th. I do not want him in the 2 hole. It's like Rooker. It's like Rooker's starting to get hot, by the way. He's hitting 3. This is a lot like last year. Like Rooker, who had a career year last year, did not start off hot. He did not start off hot. He was like 2-something early on in that first month. But now he's hitting 330. He's hitting 379, a 1,162 OPS, 3 dingers, 8 runs over the last 7 games. Problem is, solo jobs. A lot of solo home runs. A's are hitting home runs. It's a lot of solo home runs. But I'm not going to get a lot into that today because it is about Nick Kurtz.
22 to 34 solo, just so you know. The team's home runs. 22 to 34 solo.
Of course.
Just letting you know, I did the research
we're
earlier.
built on slug. Here, right? Wait, is that in our notes? Did you put that in our notes?
No, it's on. No, it's not in there. Actually,
okay, what is it? 22
to 34 solo.
Of 34 solo.
48% of our runs come.
48.8, I thought it was.
Oh, is it? Because I thought we have 48 out of it, and we have 100.
You are a rounder upper.
Well, I think we only have
our buddy Flo, who produces for us at NBC. He is not a rounder upper. He likes going 48 point. You like to round up.
I'm pretty sure I saw we had 48 runs from the home runs, and we have 100 runs scored, which would be
so it is 48%. Yeah. But this is exciting because what if this guy really is an all-time great, to where you now have this through Sacramento into Vegas, and you have a player that is, I mentioned last night on the post game. It's amazing the amount of billboards when you come out of the Las Vegas airport. How many billboards are there? I mean, I can't imagine of all the airports of it, no one has more billboards than Vegas. I can just imagine. Can you imagine the billboards? Lawrence Butler, Nick Kurtz, Jacob Wilson. That's the future. And as we keep saying, the future is now.
You keep leaving out Soderstrom.
Huh?
Soderstrom.
And Soderstrom.
Still leading the league in tied for the league leading home runs. Cal Raleigh, big dumper, keeps hitting home runs.
I mean, there could be other players too. I'm just throwing guys out there.
I haven't looked at the draft yet, so don't ask me.
And I understand this roster still is flawed. It is. And right now, you're going to try. I mean, we're going to have David Forst at 530. I mean, you're basically going to try. You're going to try and out-hit your flaws. That's what the A's are going to try and do. Kind of reminds me of the old Texas Ranger teams. Juan gone.
Well, the first thing I said, I'm like, well, who's Juan gone on this team?
Rafael Palmeiro, Pudge Rodriguez. Where's Rusty Greer?
Where's Rafael Belliard?
Mickey Tettleton. Who else was on those teams?
And they had a lot of guys.
Steve Buechele was the third baseman for years, the Stanford guy.
Yeah, they've had those. I mean, those teams had a lot of mashers. They just couldn't. They just couldn't pitch.
They could not. They tried to out-hit their deficiencies, and that's kind of what the A's are going to try and do here. Good luck. But you know what, though? It's still, you're building on what you're going to see in the future. And Nick Kurtz, 6'5", 240 pounds. I like the comp of Jim Thome, but it's not even close.
If he can hit 612 career home runs, I'll say gladly he's Jim Thome.
But Jim Thome was a butcher of a defensive player.
And he started the third, not first.
This guy is a legit fielder. So that's why it's almost like if he hits a ton of home runs, yes, we know he's going to hit. We know he's going to make contact. He's going to basically be like a Sean Casey that hits home runs, because Sean Casey was very good around the bag. He was very good defensively. Obviously, he was a 300 hitter, made a lot of contact. He would take his walks. Kurtz is going to be Sean Casey with power.
I like that comp, not because Sean Casey's a Pittsburgh guy.
Did Jim Thome ever hit 300 in a season?
Well, he was like a career 270 hitter.
I mean, Jim Thome hit bombs. There's no question. What was his best batting average year?
Career 276 hitter. His best batting average. Oh, he hit 300 multiple times. When I say multiple, he did it 3 times. All as a Cleveland Indian. When he was 24, 25, and wait for it, 31.
I think he's going to be better than a 270 career hitter. Nick Kurtz.
I mean, that's what he's projected out to be.
Yeah, this is a guy that's going to hit.
Thome walked a lot, too.
I know the other day on A's Cast Live on the Mark Kotze show, brought to you by Folsom Lake Ford, Mark Kotze made it seem like no one hits 300 anymore. And I get it, but the reality is the really good players still hit. The MVP candidates still hit 300. Shohei Ohtani, the 2 MVPs last year, Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge, hit well over 300 with all the home runs. This is what I'm getting at. He has the ability to be a very special player. A guy that hits the ball out of the ballpark, hits over 300, walks a ton, has a crazy OPS because of all the walks, and plays Gold Glove style first base defense. That's what this guy has, and that's why I think we should all be pretty excited. How do you not get excited about this? We're fans, for God's sakes. This is what you're supposed to be excited about. What if this is the franchise's Cal Ripken? Remember, as great as Ricky was in Oakland and all of that, Ricky never stayed with the A's. Is not even close to his whole career.
Since you were mentioning that, I think the longest term guy I could think of that we had
McGuire.
I was going to say even more recent would be like someone like the the organization didn't draft Mark Ellis. Well, Ellis was here for a long time. But, like, if you're looking at a guy that you drafted.
Coco was here for quite a while.
Yeah, but if you're looking for your guys you drafted, developed, I would say, McGuire.
Be McGuire.
That's a long time ago.
McGuire would go on to St. Louis, right? So it's like this could be a guy that's here for a long, long time. He could be your Cal Ripken. He could be your Kirby Puckett. He could be your Tony Gwynn. He could be your George Brett. He could be, your Griffey, your whatever. He could be that guy. He could be your Steve Sachs. As Saxy has just rolled in.
By the way, real quick, with this wind, I don't know how you guys sat out here. You and Sachs sat out here with polos on doing post-game on NBC.
You know why? Well, Sachs is soft. Sachs was shivering. I couldn't believe the guy. He's from West Sacramento. He claims he grew up on a farm like 2 minutes from here. And last night you should have seen him on the table. I'm like, guys, so you guys think this is cold? Do you know what it's like? I mean, I'm coming off winter golf where I'm waking up and playing, and it's like 32 degrees.
Yeah, us coming from the mean streets of cold San Jose.
Yeah, I come from San Jose, California, brother. It's cold. Ice warnings in the morning, and you guys here in West Sacramento, everybody keeps telling me it's going to be 110. Well, when's that? Because I got frigid sacks last night.
Yeah. It was a bit.
I brought the bomber jacket today. What do we call these jackets?
It's a bomber jacket. Well, it was actually the vote coat.
I got my own vote coat, and I love it. I love the coat.
It is nice.
By the way, everybody should get it. It's got athletics on the pocket, athletics on the back. It is dope.
I'm just trying to determine if we should break a little early because the team's going to be coming off the field and Ferguson will be here. But we'll wait till he gets
by the
closer.
way, the other thing we're going to ask David Forst is why did we not have Tyler Soderstrom play left field in spring training? Why did we not prepare for this? Isn't that what spring training is for? Because Tyler Soderstrom did a lot of catching in spring training.
Yeah.
And I remember being on A's Cast Live during spring training, and you and I were both saying, shouldn't he play some outfield? Nick Kurtz is coming. Shouldn't he play some third base? Nick Kurtz is coming. Shouldn't Andujar play some third base? So we don't have Soderstrom play any games in spring training, and in game 24, we're now going to put Soderstrom in left field when you could have played him at least 10 games out there in spring.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's an apples-to-apples comparison, but the Astros at least put Altuve a little bit in the outfield before they just moved him from second to left field, and he's been a butcher out there. But
why would we not prepare for this?
Yeah, it didn't make sense.
Didn't make sense. So, I mean, it's just, I mean, I'm going to be thrilled to talk to the GM about Nick Kurtz, but I also got to ask, like, why did we not prepare ourselves for this? You know, it's not like you're bringing him up and it's August and it's July. You're bringing him up 23. What's game? This game 24?
20. Yeah. 24.
Game 24. It's a couple weeks. Why did you not prepare? The whole thing about being in business is preparing your business for everything. When you prepare for A's Cast, you prepare for anything because stuff could go wrong. You got to prepare. You have to prepare.
And you know how well I handle disaster.
And let me tell you something. You are not John Elway.
Let's go to break here because Ferguson's coming.
You are not John Elway with 2 minutes left in the game. I can tell you that. The big man, Tyler Ferguson, is on his way right here for A's Cast Live.
Nobody beats Folsom Lake Ford. Folsom Lake Ford is a 7-time Triple Crown Award winner, Ford Motor Company's highest honor, for being the best in customer satisfaction in sales, service, and finance. Step up to the plate for our biggest selection of new Ford models, including the legendary F-150, on sale now. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters in the Folsom Auto Mall. FolsomLakeFord.com.
That ball is out of here.
A's shortstop Jacob Wilson joined Towny on A's Cast Live to share his approach when stepping into the batter's box.
Yeah, I go out there every day. You know, you kind of have to have a different mindset up here. You're facing the best pitchers in the world, pretty much. So just to be able to go up there and look for a pitch that you want to hit in a certain count, and kind of being able to go up there and have good battles against these pitchers. When they want to hit a spot, they usually tend to hit that spot, and you should try to capitalize on their mistakes. If they leave a slider hanging or leave a fastball down the middle, you just try to kind of attack on those pitches, because if you miss those, it's gonna be tough to get another one like that, because these guys up here are just so good. So you just try to go up there and just have good at bats. Try to get on base, try to put the ball in play, and more times you get on base, odds are you're going to score more runs for your team. So it's kind of my mindset going into it, just going up there and having good at-bats.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast.
Unlock offers and receive exclusive in-game features by downloading the MLB Ballpark app for iPhone and Android today. Plus, get the latest information on game time, schedules, and more.
Calling all college and grad students. Grab your friends and head to the ballpark with this special offer. Save up to 50% off select regular season games throughout the 2025 season. Get your discounted tickets at athletics.com/student. A's center fielder J.J. Bleday joined Towny on A's Cast Live and discussed his experience using the torpedo bat.
I've been using it during the homestands, and it feels like any other bat. Like when you feel it, pick it up, you hit it, it feels like any other bat. But with that being said, there have been some times where I make really flush contact and it doesn't feel like it's going as hard as it would a normal bat. So, the theory behind it is moving the barrel down towards the handle for guys who have more contact closer to the handle, to where, if you get fisted a little bit, it could potentially be a pull side home run or oppo bomb or whatever the case is. For me, I just think it's all a feel-based thing. And, there have been times where I think it feels good, but then there are times where, man, I feel like, I got a little bit more if I was using a regular bat.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast.
Elevation, so the ball doesn't move as much. So now it feels nice.
A's Cast Live continues from West Sacramento. Here's Chris Townsend.
All righty, let's pause for station identification right here on A's Cast. Tyler Ferguson is with us here on A's Cast Live, coming up right after BP. Always great to have you on the program, and really good after you're throwing the ball really well. You got to be seriously happy about your good start.
Yeah, it's been nice to get the year started on a high note and just keep it rolling.
When I think about debuts, a lot of talk about Nick Kurtz making his debut. Yeah. Your debut was special. It was special to all of us, knowing that what you had been through, your journey, the thought process of maybe it was never going to happen for you was very emotional. You teared up. Yeah. I mean, I was kind of tearing up. I'm like, this is really cool, right?
Yeah.
So what it means to have that debut. What's it like now when you get to see other guys do it? You get to see it through their eyes now.
Yeah, a little different paths for me and Nick Kurtz, but no, it's been almost a year ago for me. Yeah, it's exciting, and for all these new guys coming up that making their debut, going to help this ball club moving forward. It's exciting.
How long do you think it takes for you to get in a couple times and really settle in? To settle in, okay.
It takes time. We weren't playing well when I got up here last year. And so I was thrown in a lot of games, and that was helpful because I think the hardest thing is coming up here for a relief pitcher, and being in the pen and not throwing is probably harder than being thrown into the mix. Because once you get your feet wet, you kind of get comfortable. You can kind of get the ball rolling and kind of snowball success. And I think that's what I was able to do last year.
Well, you think about success in the bullpen. The bullpen has been going pretty good. I mean, there's been some blips, but just talk about everybody down there getting the ball to Mason Miller and how so far, especially on the road, you guys have pitched really well.
Yeah. We've had some blimps, and that's okay. It's a long year. Those are going to happen. But I think as a group, we've thrown the ball really well. Yeah, I mean, our goal, I've said it before, is just don't screw it up and get the ball to Mason. You know what I mean? He is one of the best pitchers in this game. So our job is just to get it to him as quickly as we can.
We see so many guys in the bullpen when they start the season out, especially guys who are grinding to try and make the team. They've pitched a lot already. Mm-hmm. You can get a little bit of that dead arm. You can just talk about how the early part can be different for a lot of different guys as before you really get your legs underneath you and you're ready to go all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, you do what you can in spring training to get prepared for the season, but once the season starts, it's all hands on deck. And, I had a 4 out of 5, pitched in 4 games out of 5 days there, the Cubs and then in Colorado. And then luckily I've had some time to bounce back the last 2 weeks. But yeah, it's just about kind of getting in the rhythm of the season. trying to kind of find that groove, because some guys come out and they're firing right out of the spring, and sometimes you're still trying to figure some stuff out. So it's been trying to figure some stuff out along the way, but it's gone pretty well. And just kind of like last night, enjoy filling up the zone, quick outs, and exactly what we needed last night.
What do you think's different about your game? It may not be physical, maybe mental. What's different about your game from when you started to where you are now?
Confidence has improved a lot. When you first get called up, you always wanted this opportunity, but you've never played against these guys on a day in and day out basis. And so proving to myself that I can do it, having the confidence from the coaching staff and Kotz and giving me the ball in a lot of big situations has just furthered that confidence over the last year. Confidence is key in this game. It's a hard game. Being able to bounce back after things don't go the way you want and come back and show up the next day and do it again.
Man, that is hard, right? That is when things don't go well, you got to be, that was yesterday. Today's a new day. You got to be ready to go. How long did that take you as a pro to really be able to flush anything that went wrong the day before, or is it still hard to do that?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm still working on it. Some days you handle it better than others. I think we have a really good group here of handling bad days. Kotz has done a good job of being patient with this group over the last couple of years, and now there's a lot more of a let's win, but it's also knowing that there's 162 games. So after a tough one in Milwaukee, it's a reminder. I was like, I said in the close, it was 140 more games. So like flush whatever today is, we got 140 more to go. You can't put too much emphasis on one day. You just got to come back and do it again the next day.
That's what's so interesting about baseball, because anytime no one does well early, everybody wants to remind you it's early. But this is a win-loss business.
Yeah.
And I also have to remind people that at the end of the year, those games count just as much as they do at this time of the year. And the more you win early and you bank, helps you for later on.
Absolutely.
So I think the one thing that I've liked about this group was coming out of spring training, talking to all you guys down there, their expectations to win, that this team is different. How important is it for you guys to keep that edge, to keep reminding yourselves, even when you have a tough day like Milwaukee where you give up the 14 runs, you're like, you know what? We do expect to be a better team and try and compete for the postseason.
Absolutely. I think, we're as a group trying to find our stride. Some guys have played okay and still putting up some good numbers. Guys are, some guys are struggling a little bit. Some guys are having success. But you also got to look at who we've played. And this is our 4th division lead team in 7 series. And, we've held our own, even though we've lost all those series so far. We've won one, been in another game, and we've taken care of the teams that the White Sox took care of that series and played a really good series against the Mariners. So I think it's like, if you look at the whole picture, I think we're in a really good spot where we're at, because I think our team's just going to keep getting better. I think we're in a really good spot, realizing that we've played some good pitching staffs, we've played some good offenses, and held our own for the most part.
You are no stranger to this ballpark, the ballpark in West Sacramento. You played here many times. What is the difference playing it in AAA versus playing now as a big leaguer?
Better environment for sure. The crowds have been wonderful. Pretty packed out every night. They fixed the batter's eye. Used to not be able to hit here before 8 o'clock because the batter's eye was so screwed up. So they fixed that. So it's a little more hitter friendly, even though it is more of a hitter friendly park than most in the league. But it's been a fun environment. Me and my wife lived here for about 5 years. So it's been fun to be back in a familiar place. And we're just enjoying it.
You lived here for 5 years? I didn't know that.
Yeah, my wife went to Sac State for grad school. So
okay.
We were here for a while.
So we should have been asking you for all the where do we go to eat? What do we do? Very familiar.
Yeah. Very familiar. Yeah. For about 4 or 5 winters I was here. So yeah, it's nice to be here in the summertime.
Well, it's interesting because when you played in the PCL, this was known as, we can pitch here.
Yeah.
Because everything else is altitude. It's light air.
Yeah. This was you were looking forward to playing here because I played on the PCL on the West Coast side. So here in Tacoma, we're the most pitcher friendly because the ball moves because you're at sea level and it plays like a normal ball or a more normal ballpark. Because when you're playing in Reno, you're playing in Salt Lake, you're playing in El Paso.
Yeah.
balls are
good luck.
Good luck. Yeah, the ball's flying, your pitches aren't moving. It's kind of like you're playing in Colorado, but usually slightly smaller ballpark. So that's not a good recipe for having a lot of success on the mound.
How much do you think that plays in guys' heads when you already go to a ball like for years before they were putting the balls in the humidor in Colorado? It freaked pitchers out. As soon as they got out there, they were defeated before they took the mound.
Yeah, I mean, we had conversations about that as a pitching staff when we went to Colorado. It was like, you can't worry about your stuff not being the same. You just have to go get outs with whatever you have in front of you. You can't worry about the ballpark too much. I think it does. Some guys can let it get to them a little bit. Luckily, I have a lot of experience, so I've kind of rode in the waves of having success and failure pitching at an altitude in a small ballpark. So it's something, if you haven't experienced it, it can rattle you, but you have to just kind of roll with the punches.
Do you ever get the sense you're a little bit of a veteran type presence in that bullpen, even though you don't have a ton of service time, right?
Yeah, under your service time, but at 31, I think I'm the third or fourth oldest on the on the team, maybe, so I'm definitely one of the older guys. Try to bring a calm presence, and I have a lot of knowledge about this game because I've played for so long, even though I haven't necessarily played at this level. So I've enjoyed getting to share some of that with the guys.
Well, it is always fun to have you on the program. You're throwing the ball great this year.
Thank you.
I mean, it's like one of those just keep it going, keep doing,
just keep it rolling,
whatever you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate you having you on the program.
Thanks for having me.
Tyler Ferguson right here on A's Cast Live. What do you want to do? You want to go to Darren Bush? Hey, by the way, Darren Bush, phenomenal. You ever get a chance to break it down, Darren Bush has been the director of hitting. He's been the bench coach for the A's for years. It's an incredible baseball life. We don't get him often because he's so busy, right? He's got to prepare 13 different pitchers. 13 different hitters every single day. So when we try and get him, it's always like, Bushy's busy. So I've known Bush for a long time and so much respect for his career. And now as a bench coach, director of hitting, he's been a manager in our system, a truly great baseball life, but a baseball life that has been with the Athletics. That's where it's very rare. The majority of his career, all of his career basically, with the Athletics. Here is Darren Bush, the bench coach, A's Cast Live. On A's Cast Live, a really special interview. Darren Bush, the bench coach and also director of hitting, joins us here, and it is great to have you on. And first of all, I know how busy you are, so for you to take the time, it means a lot.
Well, I appreciate you having me. It's a busy day, but every day's busy. That's no big deal.
Yeah, well, that is your life when you're the direct. It's interesting, all the titles that people have. The director of hitting, that's 13 different hitters that you got to get prepared every single day. And there's a lot of data that you go through. There's a lot of work that you go through physically. Just kind of take us through that, what a day's like for athletic hitters.
Well, you hit it. We go through everything. We start our days the day before. Chris Crone, who is one of the hitting coaches, he goes over everything about the pitcher. He sends it out to everybody on, all 13 hitters get it, a report on how we think they'll pitch to them. And it starts the night before. And then when we get here, we just go right into it. Every guy comes through the cage and, Aldo, myself, and Crony, we're in the cage with them and we're going over who's pitching, what they do, the situations that are going to come up, and we prepare them for the day. And we try to put them in the best position for success, and hopefully it works out.
Now, you talk about sending the information the night before. Just talk about, you've been with this organization for a long time, and you've been a part of hitting throughout this organization for so many years. Just talk about how different that is, that you're sending this stuff the night before compared to back in the day. Hey, show up BP and let's go.
There's no doubt. Now with the information, the data we have, and everything that we have compiled together on these pitchers, it is next to impossible to give them everything in a 5-minute setting. So you do need to have it to them the night before so they can study individually the amount of data and, pick and choose. Okay, this is what's going to work for me against this guy, and come up with an individual plan. Will we have a group plan, a team plan? Absolutely we will. But each guy individually has their own plan against a pitcher on any given day.
How important is it, like a teacher, you need to learn who can absorb what, right? Like you may be good in math, but I'm good in English. You're good in history. Like everybody learns different. Everybody learns at a different pace and a different speed. Some people are audio, some people are visual. So how much do you have to learn the player to then understand how much information I can expect him to absorb?
A lot. I mean, you need to know the player. There's no doubt, because some players are very analytical and they want to know exactly. And then you have other players that all they want to know is what pitches does he throw. And they want to know, they want to narrow it down as much as they can. But that is a huge part of knowing the player and knowing what they need for that day, because some guys it is very minimal and other guys it is very detailed.
Yeah, it's crazy the stuff that you talk about, the neuroscience and how the human brain works with the eyes. You know, we've always, you know, think about your career. Where are the hands? Where's the load? Where's the stance? All this kind of stuff. But really, what are the eyes seeing? And what is your computer, your brain telling you to do? There's so much like we're starting to uncover why it's so hard to see that ball up. Why the big breaking ball changing the eye level. Like we've always thought so much about the physical, but there's so much. I mean, I'm not a neuroscientist. I'm not trying to claim to be. I'm just a radio, television, film major. But there's a lot that I think that you guys never knew about that you're starting to understand about the human brain and how it reacts.
There's no doubt. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, for, a few years ago, it was ride fastballs, high spin rate. The ball, you think it's going to be one place, but it's another. And you have to train your eyes and you have to train your brain to understand that when it is at this point, this is how I need to approach this. No matter what my eyes are telling me, this is how I have to approach this pitch to have success. And that is a learned thing. And, Chris Crone, we talk about it a lot, about training for these things, not practicing them, training them, because you are training your eyes and your brain on what you need to do on these particular pitches. And then your body, once you train it, will react that way.
Great teachers adapt. Great teachers grow. Just talk about your growth as a professional of what you knew as a former player back in the day out of Florida when you were coming up to where you are now. How much has it all changed?
It has changed a lot. We used to go out and we would just take swings and we would figure out what we were doing by the result of the ball and how we wanted it to change. Now, I mean, there's so much technology, so much data, so many things that we have at our dispense to be able to speed it up, and be able to make adjustments much quicker now. But it works on the flip side too. The pitchers are able to do the same thing. So when they see us adjust, we have to be able to counter that and be able to have the other tool in the toolbox to be able to adjust back with them. And, and our hitters, and they've talked about being able to make the adjustment within the at-bat based on this is what this guy's doing now. I need to be able to do this, and I've trained for this, and I know how to counter that. And it has changed dramatically. I mean, it's been a long time, and before it was just we would come up with a plan with our eyes watching the guy on the field and figuring out what his ball is doing and basing it off of the result of the swing of, okay, he's getting a lot of foul balls. We need to be able to adjust to that. How are we going to adjust to that and do it on the fly? But now we can, before the game even starts, we know what we need to train for, and we know counts. We know these things that, okay, we can expect this and this count in this situation and have that plan and have that approach, which is different.
And then your time spent in the bullpen as a bullpen coach, how much does that help you? Because you've worked with so many pitchers, so you start to understand what the other animal thinks and how he reacts.
There's no doubt about that. And pitchers have tendencies. and
they tip things.
Most pitchers are going to want to go to what they do best. So if you know what they do best, when the time gets tight, that's what they're going to want to go to. And you have to know what that is. And our players need to know that. So when that situation arises, yes, this is what he may have been doing, but times are tight right now. He's going to revert to what he does best. Let's know what that is and be able to attack it.
Darren Bush with us, the bench coach for the Athletics, also the director of hitting. Let's go to the bench coach part because, wow, there's a lot of responsibility there. The camera will zoom in on the dugout, and you're always talking to Mark Kotze. you know, the manager has a lot going on, but he needs somebody. He needs that guy. And because you have managed before in the A's system, how much does that just help you see the game, look ahead, always kind of keeping him updated on what's going to happen with the other lineup? I mean, you got to see the game just like the manager, but you have that experience from being a manager.
Yeah, and then, you know, it's huge benefit for myself and hopefully for Kurtz that yes, I spent years managing, and when you're managing in the minor leagues, you're doing everything, and you have to see everything that's going on, because at our time when I was doing, there was only 3 of us, and so it's difficult to be able to take everything in. So you learn a system to be able to do it. So now with Mark managing, he's got tons of stuff going on through the game. He's thinking about pitching. He's thinking about the 6th inning, and it's a second. And as a bench coach, you're thinking of those things, but you're also living in the moment, and you're trying to make sure that in the moment he is aware of everything that is going on, because he has time maybe thinking about, 2 innings ahead. So you're constantly trying to remind him in the moment. And then while he's in the moment, you're reminding him of 2 innings ahead. So you kind of have to play both sides of knowing where he is and then trying to play the other side of where he is on both sides.
I think about how steady a guy you are. You know, you're pretty even keeled, right? You're not the guy out there screaming and yelling, throwing bats all over the place. It's never been your personality. You know, times can be tough in that dugout. There's a lot of pressure. How often are you able to go? Because I know you're very tight with guys like Scott Emerson. I know, how much do you kind of put your arm around guys, other fellow coaches, when they may be struggling a little bit? Because we talk about with Kurtz. Kurtz is always worried about everybody else. Sometimes Kurtz needs someone to put an arm around him, tell him everything's going to be okay. Since you've been a veteran and you've done that, you've managed, you kind of done everything, and you have that personality, how many times maybe you put your arm around Kurtz or Emo or somebody, and it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right.
You try to do it as much as you possibly can, because, there are ups and downs, and we try to be the same. Just be consistent and just remind everybody that, look, our job is to try to put them in the best position for success. And the game is very, very hard, and guys are going to be successful and guys are going to fail. All we do is put them in the position to succeed and prepare them. That's all we can do. So when they go out there, and if something isn't going right, don't worry about it. Just stick to the plan of prepare them, put them in the best position for success, and keep doing it every single day. There's no relentless. You have to be relentless. You can't stop. You can't. Every single day, we're constantly trying to put them in the best position for success, whether they succeed or whether they fail. Because I promise you, when they're walking out on that field, they are doing everything they can to succeed. No one wants to fail. So us as coaches need to realize that and recognize that they want to succeed. So let's just keep putting them in the best position too. And when they fail, pick them up. Don't knock them down, pick them up, because it's a hard game.
I think I'm going to have to play that every night for our callers on A's Talk. This is hard, and they're really prepared, and they're trying. Callers don't always see it that way. I love how the NFL Network does a football life, where they go through a guy's life and just how a man or a woman has traveled through football. And you're somebody I think about a baseball life like so many, where, one of the reasons why I fight every single night, whether it's this show, whether it's on NBC or whether it's on A's Talk, I fight for this organization because I know this organization is a family, how good it's been to me, how good it's been to you. You've been here for a long time in so many different roles. It's truly an incredible baseball life. Most guys in your position will have a long career, but they won't do it with one organization. They'll move around. What has that meant to you to do all the different things that you've done in your career and to do it with the Athletics?
I mean, I feel blessed every single day. I've been very, very fortunate to be with this organization. This organization, you cannot say enough great things about it. They are supportive. They are there for you. They hold you accountable. I mean, it's just a group of extremely good people. And, I've been blessed. I mean, I have them. I have my family at home. that they feel like they are a part of the athletics family as well, because they've been treated that way. And, you know, to be able to do everything over the last 20 years with the athletics has been just amazing. I mean, they are just, I can't say enough good things. Sounds like I could go on about it for hours, about just the people that I have encountered throughout this organization from the day I was hired till now. I very seldom run into people that are just not good people. Everyone here cares about the organization, puts in time, puts in effort, does everything they can to help this organization win on the field. But not only that, treat the people within the organization with respect, and treat the people within the organization as they're important, which everyone is. And everyone here realizes that.
Two more on the two young guns. Nick Kurtz makes his debut. Obviously, we are very, very excited. What are your expectations, and how good do you think this kid can be?
He's very, very talented. I mean, he is a very talented player, but so are the players on the other side.
Yeah, the guys get paid too.
So I think he's extremely talented, and I think he has a very bright future in front of him. There will be ups and downs, I'm sure, just like there is for every player, but his personality plays well for the game. Just in a little bit of time that I've got to spend with him, his mindset, his personality plays well for this game. And with his skill set, I look forward to very good things for him.
Jacob Wilson. You know, I had Tony Gwynn Jr. on the set here. We were talking about Ichiro, Tony Gwynn, Wade Boggs, Rod Carew. I mean, guys who show up every day, make a ton of contact, get 2 hits, 3 hits, 2 hits. This kid's got something special. What have you seen in him?
Exactly what you said. I mean, he has a knack for finding the barrel and finding the baseball. He is a very good hitter. And then, you know, you see a lot of guys now that have skill sets where they can drive the ball a mile. Well, Jacob has power, you know, but he also is advanced in his approach of knowing when to and when not to. He knows when to, okay, this is a guy that I can do this on. He also knows, okay, this is a guy I need to do this on. He has a very good plan and approach, very advanced for a very young hitter, and he has the ability to execute it, which is not a common thing for somebody at his stage of his career, and that's going to be fun to watch.
Well, I appreciate the time. Once again, you're one of the hardest working guys in the business. Thank you so much for stopping by. Good luck with your hitters. I know you're excited about these young kids, and we'll talk to you later on during the season.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me on.
That was, in my opinion, a very high-level baseball conversation with someone who's been in this game for a long, long time and been a part of the athletics organization for a long time. To talk about hitting, everything that goes on with hitting, how hitting has changed dramatically. I mean, it's changed. The sport has changed so dramatically. And it's a lot of fun to watch it and to talk to somebody who's lived it through all these years. And lived it in this organization. I mean, folks, most guys bounce from organization to organization to organization. To spend your career basically with one organization, like when David Forst, the general manager, shows up here, kind of the same deal. What time is Forst? 5:30?
5:30, yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's the same deal. That's why when people say it's like a family around here, they mean it, because people have been around here for a long, long time. And it's something special. I'm proud to represent and proud to have been around myself for a long time.
I threw this out there, and this is a major ode to Darren Bush and the coaching staff. But I threw this out there too because I was just looking some up, like, okay, what's something that we've done really well this year that we haven't in the past? We have the fewest.
Wait.
Okay, all right.
What have we done? What are we doing?
Doing well
that we haven't done in the past?
Yes.
Huh. There's no way you're going to tell me we're not striking out. There's no way. There's no way you're telling me that.
The 2025 Athletics have the fewest amount of strikeouts when it comes to hitting.
Out of 30 teams, they would be 30th in strikeouts.
That is correct.
And that's the only time you want to be 30th.
Correct. Then I was looking. So
who's leading? Who's number one in strikeouts?
It is not the Rockies. It is actually it's a three-way tie. Actually, that'd be the Boston Red Sox, the Colorado Rockies, and the New York Yankees.
It's so funny. Dan Shaughnessy, longtime columnist for the Boston Globe, was on a show I was watching, and I guess he did this column where he's not loving this Red Sox team, and they're like, well, they've won a few games. They've played the White Sox like twice in the last week, and people are like, hey, Red Sox are now 14-12 or whatever. Like, do you play the White Sox? Like, compared to like the Cubs, have you seen, like, as the Cubs are playing the Dodgers again, the Dodgers they've essentially played the Dodgers 3 times. Tokyo, Dodger Stadium, Wrigley. They've played the Padres. I mean, we have had a tough already start at the season schedule. How about the Chicago Cubs?
You mean the team that has the most runs scored in baseball by a wide margin so far? The way
they are super athletic. And, oh, by the way, it's like, stop with the payroll, man. They're like 14th in payroll.
Yeah, and that's before they try to attempt to re-sign Kyle Tucker if they want to keep him in Chicago.
Next ratings win last night against the Dodgers. Tucker big once again. Pete Croy Armstrong is just
Miguel Amaya and their backup catcher, Carson Kelly, who had to triple here when they come here. Like, they're all having good years. And Justin Steele's out for the year, but the Cubs have just –
Who was dealing last night? My guy, friend. Mike, our good friend Mike.
Shota Imanaga.
Mike Imanaga, great conversation.
They won that game, 11-10 in extras?
So, you remember that Shota Imanaga, Scott Emerson, and myself were all chopping it up in the bullpen a while back here.
Just 2 lefties and a college guy. You guys can determine which one's which.
2 lefties and just some hack in makeup. Yeah, we were chatting it up. I told Shody's got to come on the program.
Right. Emo was a lefty, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I thought.
Told Shody's got to come on the show.
We got to get a Starbucks order.
I told him, I said the funniest thing, the whole Starbucks story, and he was laughing. And then he was kind of telling us how they started putting Mike Imanaga up in the clubhouse at Wrigley. And a lot of because, writers have no sense of humor and they're not fun. They're like, what is Mike Imanaga? Like, they didn't get it.
Who?
Never
heard of him.
It's his nickname. His nickname's Mike. He's a funny guy. Yeah, friend. Scott Emerson and I are friends with Shota Imanaga.
Confirmed. Scott Emerson tomorrow, 4:30 to start the show.
Nice. Coming up next, a little State of the Union, we like to call it. It's the General Manager Show. David Forst will join us right here from the ballpark in West Sacramento on A's Cast Live.
Former A's pitcher and current SNY and MLB Network analyst Ron Darling shared his insights on the young A's core during an appearance on A's Cast Live.
I think everything starts at the top, right? So you got to start with Mark Kotsay. Yeah. You know Kotz. He is a pro through and through, a great guy through and through, and he's been put in this spot for a reason, to make sure that these young players thrive and get better. Between Wilson and Soderstrom, Langoliers, I'm a huge fan of. I didn't know he ran like he runs. He really can run for a catcher. So you have all of this young talent, young core of everyday players, because pitching, you can go out and get a Severino. Yeah. You can go get some pitching. But core young players that you have control of are promised land for any organization. This team's going to get much better really quickly. They have all the pieces that this could be the time in the middle 2000s or late 80s, early 90s where they can return to form.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast. Get your group together and check out all our great hospitality spaces for bonding opportunities, events, or a fun outing of your friends and family. There are 20, 50, and 100-person indoor suites available for select games, as well as an 80-person open-air area with a shaded cover. Secure your group today at athletics.com/hospitality.
The A's YouTube page is your go-to destination for A's video content. Get access to great highlights, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, classic games, A's Cast Live, and more. Visit youtube.com/athletics.
A's closer Mason Miller joined Chris Townsend on A's Cast Live ahead of opening day to discuss the thrill of closing out games for the Athletics.
You always like that juice. I mean, in college, it would be you'd have to go a couple games starter to get to it, but there's nothing that beats that feeling of getting the final out of the game. High-fiving all your teammates and getting into the locker room with a win. So, I've liked the big moment. I've liked it. I think I've been able to keep a pretty even head about it, though, and I think that helps me have more success in that role, that I don't get too high or too low. I just know that if I get 3 outs, I got the job done. It doesn't have to be pretty. I don't have to be perfect, but it's you either got it done or you didn't, and I think there's something liberating in that.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast.
You're listening to A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Well, since David Forst was once a high-end basketball player back in the day, pickup basketball, we wanted to promote. Did you see this for Saturday?
At least you don't have me modeling it. I'm happy to promote it, but I don't want to model it.
It's got the 916 on it.
Sweet.
Saturday's giveaway, the basketball jersey.
All right. I know the Kings aren't playing, but I know the Dubs are playing tonight. So hopefully we're still allowed to root in that direction.
Oh, we are. Trust me, Nate, who is here, our engineer here in Sacramento. So I know you don't listen to the postgame show, and nor should you ever.
Wait. Like 10 times this year.
You have?
Haven't we won 10 games?
Okay. I appreciate that. 833-625-2278. Well, he's a big Kings fan, and he started I'm like, do not start that. Yeah. Do not start the war. They've won championships. I do not want to go here because then we'll
send him Mark Ling's direction. They can talk.
Can we all just coexist here for a while? Because you can't mess with the Warriors, and you are a big Golden State Warriors fan.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll have the game on up in the suite tonight, and looking forward to watch game one. They played great, stole one at Houston, so should be a good series.
All right, I've known you for a while. I think you're pretty excited about tonight.
Yeah,
I think you're really excited about this player. Talk about this player, how special the potentially can be, and you're calling him up really, really, really fast.
Well, I'm excited because I agreed to meet with the media yesterday to talk about him. So I must
on Zoom too. I loved it.
I must be excited. No, this is exciting for the whole organization. I mean, I haven't done the exact math, but I don't know how many days it is since we drafted Nick. But for him to be here, be in the lineup this close to having his name called on draft day is another huge organizational win. Scouting, player development, every part of the process, and I'm excited that he's here because he can help us, not because we pushed him or whatever. He hit his way here, and we have a need, and he's here for that.
This time last year, he was in college baseball, still taking classes at Wake Forest.
I heard him say that yesterday. I mean, this might be the exact weekend I went to see him last year at Wake. They played a series against Florida State right around the end of April, and I went to see him play 2 games, and it's amazing what a year can do.
You don't like to rush people. You don't have to rush people. No one's making you do anything. That's why it's like the same thing with Jacob last year. He's hitting 400 everywhere. You push your way here, but you have to really believe in this.
For sure. Yeah, I think we spent a lot of years being really conservative and holding off as long as we possibly could. And the fact is the game is changing. Guys are getting here quicker. Guys are so much more prepared coming out of college. I mean, playing college baseball is really high level right now. And a lot of those guys, you see it. I mean, Wyatt Langford is maybe one of the 2 or 3 best players on this Rangers team, and he's not that far removed from the University of Florida. So it's happening. We've adjusted. We're excited for Nick.
Before we get more into Kurtz, when talking about evaluating these players, has technology, and I would say technology like StatCast, where you get to see this guy hits the ball hard, you see it in AA, you see it in AAA, or pitchers, their holding velocity or whatever the break or whatever the spin, is there's so much data. Does that allow you to really believe like, okay, what I'm seeing is real, and it makes it easier to promote guys faster because the data is telling you the guys are the real deal?
Yeah, I think there's no doubt about it. I think it starts really early. First of all, the players come to the draft prepared with data. These guys coming in, position players, pitchers, they know their Rapsodo data, their TrackMan data. They know what they need to do to compare to minor league and major league players, so they're more prepared. And then, absolutely, when we get them in the system, we have so much, our measurements are so much better to tell us what we're seeing is real. We're not just going on our eyes or what the minor league staff is saying. Like, there's data to back it all up.
You didn't have that coming out of Harvard?
We did not have Rapsodo or TrackMan machines.
Someone
no.
at Harvard was inventing it at the time. You just didn't have it yet.
Probably right.
And to think about his ability to play first, I know he's good defensively. It's a very tough thing because right now people are asking you, who's playing left? What are you going to do with Andujar? Andujar's not playing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a tough situation. You want to get all the bats in, but I mean, I have a hard time thinking you're going to put the 6'5" guy out there in left field. I think as good as he is defensively, what we have learned, it's hard to believe he's not going to play the bulk at first base.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I said this yesterday. Tyler has been outstanding through this whole process. I mean, how often are you going to ask the guy who's your best bat in the lineup right now to just move positions? And Tyler's been great, wants to help the team. He's pretty confident in what he can do in the outfield, and knows that he's going to be in there regardless. So that's all that matters to him. So he's been great. Look, yeah, Miguel's going to lose some playing time right now, but things change quickly. And also, good teams have good players on the bench. I mean, that's where you want to get to as a roster. And if Miguel can come off the bench tonight and hit against the lefty in the 7th or 8th inning, that makes us that much better.
I had some eyes for me in Milwaukee. Said he was taking some ground balls at third. Could we see him at third?
We haven't had that discussion with him yet.
Okay, all right. I just know there was some ground balls being fielded.
You must have good sources.
Okay. When I think about Tyler, as you said, the confidence. We've had him on the show, and I went down. Can you play here? Okay. He says everywhere. He did play short in high school, but he says I don't think I can play. But he really believes I can play left. Yeah. I can play third. He has that. So it's not like I could see like certain guys are like, he really believes he can play any of these positions.
Yeah, look, that's what gets these guys to the big leagues. They believe in themselves. They believe they can do anything, and it's great. If you use it to your advantage, it's great to have that kind of confidence.
Do you ever think back now, like, God, maybe we should have put him out in the left in spring training when he had all that time?
Who the heck knew that Kurtz was going to be here on April 23rd?
Well, some of us thought there were people talking about he should have made the club out of spring. So you didn't think that he'd be here that early?
No, honestly, I didn't. I didn't think he'd be here in April. No.
Wow.
Not until maybe the first week of the AAA season.
Then what was it exactly that made you say, "Yep, we got to bring him here now"?
I mean, it was everything. It was the at bats, the exit velos, the walks, the patience, just the command of the strike zone, the quality of the defense, just across the board. He performed in AAA.
Well, I remember we talked about it. You really felt like, because I remember you were like, man, we're only picking 4th. But look what you got. It's almost like the guy who you thought probably was the best guy in the draft anyway.
Yeah, we did feel that way. And again, I said this yesterday when I talked to the writers. I always sort of roll my eyes when people tell those stories. Oh, this is the guy we wanted all along. We would have taken him if we were picking first. And I do. I'm like, oh, come on, really? But
yeah,
I told the story. Eric has his meetings in January. We talked about it. We were all bummed that we weren't picking first, but we said, hey, if we were picking first, who's the guy? Nick was the guy.
Can't wait, because I said, people can't see this, but when you look, the retired numbers are right next to us here. It's Reggie Jackson, it's Ricky Anderson, it's Dennis Eckersley, it's Raleigh Fingers, Dave Stewart, it's Catfish Hunter. We're talking about all-time greats. I said, enjoy tonight, enjoy what's coming, because this guy has a chance. We don't know, but he has a chance to be like one of those guys.
That's high praise. I don't know if we're putting him up on the wall yet.
I know, but he has a chance.
Sure.
Right? He has a chance. So right now, your ball club 10-13. What do you think?
It's early. Look, I think we've played well at times. We've beaten some teams that we thought we should beat. We've come up short against, frankly, some of the best teams in the league. Cubs, Padres, Mets. Like, these are all likely playoff teams. So those are the teams we want to measure ourselves against. We've come up short. It's still April, though. We're going to make some changes to the roster, as you saw today. We're going to, kind of move some pieces around, try and find the right fix. I think Kotz and Emo are doing a great job with the bullpen right now, still trying to figure it out. So it is early. I know it's one a little over 1/8 of the season or whatever it is, but there's a lot of time left. I like some of the things we're seeing.
Yeah, you've always said it takes a while before you really evaluate the entire team.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm as sort of I have that sense of urgency just like everybody else does. I want things to be right immediately or yesterday or whatever, but I have recognized that this takes some time to put the pieces in the right places. And, I don't know when the right time is to say this is our team for the rest of the way, but we're not there yet.
Is it tough then to be kind of patient?
Yeah. You know me? I'm not patient.
I know. I mean, for me, I'm like, I would do this. I'd be the worst general manager.
Yeah,
tough, right?
Patience is important, and I'll give Mark a lot of credit too. I mean, sitting in Mark's seat, you want the players now, you want things the way you want them now, and he's done a really nice job of being patient, understanding. Hey, we got to figure some guys out. We got to see, who's the right. Look, we had Max Muncy here, and we got to see a little taste, and Max got his feet wet. He's going to go back to AAA and reset. We've seen it. I mean, we've talked about this a lot. We've seen it with Lawrence. We've seen it with Tyler. We saw it with JJ. Like, sometimes it takes a little time. So I'm happy that Max got that experience. I'm optimistic about what he's going to do in AAA. We'll get him back here.
I got a good note today. I was like, stand up here, and then I heard my name. The guy was yelling at me. It was Zach Geloff pointing at his wrist going, he's close. He's ready to have me on.
He's ready to get out of this clubhouse. I know that. He wants to go out and play, so he's not too far away.
Will he go down to a rehab assignment?
For sure. Yeah. No, he needs it bad. So I think he learned last year, he had that little side thing. He only took a few games, wasn't 100% ready when he came back. So we're going to get him nice long 25-30 AB rehab assignment, make sure he's good to go.
The one thing about Luis Severino, I've just really appreciated ever since he showed up and we got to interview him at the Kimpton Sawyer Hotel for the press conference, then the conversation of spring training, and then just to watch him, the professionalism. We had a Yankees writer on who told us about Severino, what a leader he was, and how it just wasn't the Latin players. It was all the pitchers came to him. Yeah. We learned about just the leader that he is. And then to watch him go out a few outings, give up runs early, and then gut it out and look into the dugout and look at Marcotte, say, no, I got this. And he wants to keep going and keep throwing. It's like, that's leadership. That's why you paid this guy. I've been super impressed. How about you?
I feel exactly the same way. And he's led by example. And the game here, like you said, gave up runs early, got us through 6 innings. The game in Milwaukee, he goes out and pitches 8 innings, gives the bullpen a day off, gets us a W. Like, those are the things that you expect from your number one. And he has been every bit of that.
Yeah, starting staffs, for the most part, has been pretty good. You talk about guys that are, we're just to talk about. So Nick Kurtz is going to be your Grant Holmes is called back up to the bullpen. So is Hogan Harris. Hogan Harris go into kind of like that long roll, and he can always potentially start.
Yeah, I mean, Hogan will probably give us length right now. Holman, kind of fills that Leclerc role. Hopefully, he starts out in the 6th or 7th inning. But we saw what Grant can do when he was here last year. So a couple switches in the bullpen. Jacob Lopez did a great job. Pitched 4 out of 8 days, and we needed a fresh arm.
All right, so how about Leclerc, and then how about Springs? We know Leclerc on the IL. Yeah. How about Springs?
Springs should be good for his next start.
Okay.
Yeah, we had the hamstring checked out. Seems like he feels good. Leclerc, we're going to get a second opinion, but he may be a little while, unfortunately. He felt his shoulder on one pitch last night, and that's usually not a good sign.
No, that's not, and that's tough because he's trying to get his feet wet. Well, isn't it nice to play the American League again? Felt like I forgot. It's like National League. Like, do we play anybody in division? It's kind of nice to see the Rangers.
It is and it isn't. I don't know that I want to see Rocker and DeGrom the next 2 nights, but it's a little more familiar. Our old friend Marcus is on the other side of things. So yeah, it feels a little more normal.
On the thing about the stiff competition, what we've been through the last 2 years, basically learning and building this team. There is something about playing tough competition early. You learn a lot about yourself. Iron sharpens iron. I feel like that's going on with this team.
And yeah, all these guys had to do was look across the diamond to see what it looks like. I mean, those are good teams. I mean, the Cubs are battling the Dodgers every day right now. Like I said, the Padres, one of the best records in baseball. So you look at what they're doing, how they play the game, the way they cover the field, little things like that. It's good for our guys.
How are we on time? Do we got to get out of here? We're on a tight.
David's the busy one, not us. So I mean, we still
well,
got
you
about.
always look at me like
we still got about 13 minutes till the show ends.
Well, I got to say, if you want us to get you one of these jerseys for your pickleball,
You know a guy? Yeah.
we
For
can.
my pickleball.
We- You're a big pickleball
Just what
guy
I needed
now.
was national pickleball recognition. Thanks, Jesse Rogers.
Well,
Yeah.
I hear you're pretty good.
I'm
You've
okay.
given up golf.
Golf isn't that much fun. When you play like once every few months and you're in the trees and in the sand, like it's just not that much fun.
And you're losing $4 balls, and you're like, why am I doing
I know,
this?
and I'm losing money to Feinstein. Like, no, it's
Feinstein plays?
Oh yeah, Feinstein, Ben, Greg, Rob. These guys they have a million different bets out on the course. They've got everything is a bet.
I need in on these guys' money.
You
I
should.
would because they're rich. I
Yeah.
like playing rich guys. I can get them back for you.
Okay.
I can get them back for you.
We'll pool.
You can sponsor me, and we'll get it back.
Right.
Hey, always appreciate the time. I know you're busy, but by the way, I think Jacob Wilson also from Cart Before the Horse with Kurtz.
Yeah.
I've been bringing up guys like Ichiro and Tony Gwynn and Wade Boggs. Going,
Really?
This is kind of what those guys did.
Okay.
When you get 2-3 hits every night, he's kind of special.
Jacob's been great.
I don't care if he doesn't walk.
I do. But,
I know.
But if you hit 340, it's a little different.
I mean, he hits every night, and the way he
It's really
went,
nice
and
to see.
it was talking to Darren Bush about like he has this incredible knack, barrel ball,
Yeah.
consistently. It's something that I don't think.
I see
something
you.
don't
I
teach.
see you and Shooty talking about it, so I know you're on him.
I mean, like Shooty everybody wants to calm me down. Can I be excited? I want to be excited about this stuff. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, Chris.
All right, coming up, we got more next right here on A's Cast Live. We're not
break.
breaking.
I get to go. You have
get
to keep
go.
talking.
Good to see you.
All right.
Enjoy Nick Kurtz. It is Nick Kurtz Day, and obviously we all are very excited. I think we did go to a break. I hear it in my ear. No, we're not. We're not out. So I guess we keep talking as the commercial's being played in our ear. It's okay. I can live through it. So we're on A's Cast, but we're just not on KSTE. Okay, that's fine.
Well, when we come back on KSTE, we can just we can play the video of all the guys talking with their
He
debuts.
was shocked. He was shocked that Kurtz is coming up this early.
I know he's always very honest. He's never,
honest. He's honest. I had to ask him, and he was honest. Why would you not have him? Why would you not have him taking fly balls in left field? But like he said, and like we talked about Tyler Soderstrom, the fact that he's a super confident kid and he believes he can play it. I mean, I'm not worried about it. Just to let everybody know,
Mark, I will message you about this.
Mark, we're on the air right now, Mark, just not on your air. I screwed up, everybody. I went to a break.
He went to a break that wasn't there.
Well, because it's awkward to have people here and not be able to say goodbye to them.
I know it is. Yes.
It's very awkward. So I'd like to go to a break when you say goodbye. And we're on 8 million different platforms.
We should have just thrown it to the video, but then we wouldn't know how to set it up. And
Oh, we got a killer video. So thought about the idea today about going to some of our players and remembering their opening day. And what was it like for them? And what advice would they give to Nick Kurtz?
I'm waiting.
Yeah, we'll go to it once we're back on terrestrial.
Yeah, they're. I think we still got another minute or so.
How did it come out?
I thought it was great. You know, Michael and Kyle did a great job asking Lawrence Butler, TJ McFarland, Shea Langoliers, and Zach Geloff about it. We put it together, and we're going to use it on here, and it'll be on A's Cast on NBC Sports California. So it turned out great, and hearing guys talk about their stories and debuting is awesome. I know we had Tyler Ferguson on. We know his story better than a lot of guys because we were there.
Well, you think of all the years where Tyler Ferguson was in the minor leagues and he thought that there was no chance that he would ever make it Major League Baseball. And the fact that Tyler Ferguson, we were a part of that, and there were tears in his eyes. So, 650 KSTE is just joining us once again and part of the A's radio network. So, had an idea, wanted to go into the clubhouse today and talk with some of our players. What do they remember most about their opening day, and what advice would they have for Nick Kurtz? Who were the interns able to get?
So we got
you got to give it in order.
Yeah, it's going to start with Lawrence Butler. Then you're going to have TJ McFarland, the veteran in the clubhouse.
Yes.
And then
35 years old.
Shea Langoliers, and then it was we ended with Zach Geloff.
All right. Are we ready to play it?
Yep.
All right. Let's head to the clubhouse.
I mean, just being able to step out into a big league stadium for the first time. Obviously, he won't be able to experience that. But, I mean, it's still a cool feeling, just playing your first big league game. It's amazing. I mean, you're going to be playing against top talent in the world. It's just a surreal feeling. I mean, this is the moment you kind of work for your whole life, and to see it come true is pretty cool.
What advice would you have for Nick Kurtz or other players making the Major League debut?
Play it like you've been playing baseball your whole life. I feel like some players kind of get there, get a little nervous and try to switch it up. It's like, bro, just play the same way you've been playing in the minor leagues. That's the reason you got here, so don't try to change anything.
Well, I made the team out of camp with Baltimore as a Rule 5 guy, similar to what Murdoch did and Spence did last year. So I had to wait. I actually didn't pitch until like 4 days in. So I remember being very, very anxious and very nervous. But once you get out there, you realize it's the same game as always. And, I did really well.
As a veteran player, what would be some of your advice for a guy like Nick Kurtz making his Major League debut today?
Just that. I mean, honestly, it's the same game. He's been killing it down in AAA. Everyone knows his talent. So I feel like the best piece of advice would be just relax, enjoy it, and just realize it's the same 60 feet to the mound and the same 90 feet to first base. So
I got to debut in Texas against the Rangers, so it was pretty cool. I grew up 20 minutes away. A lot of friends, a lot of family. Got to see it and got my first hit, and then got to take a bunch of cool pictures with my family after the game. So it was a pretty cool experience.
What would be some of your advice as a veteran player for Nick Kurtz tonight?
Yeah, I think the common thing is, you spend your whole life trying to get to the big leagues, and you finally get here, and then you feel like you got to do more than you've been doing. It's just, it comes with, time and just playing games, but you just be yourself and, obviously you got here, you're good enough to be here, so just be yourself. Don't try to do more.
It was all a blur. I think I just remember being in the Suburban with Tyler Soderstrom, and us just walking the Coliseum was just unreal. And having it open up and everything is just coming out of the dugout was insane. But I don't really remember much. I just remember looking up and seeing the ball hit off the fence, and standing on second, but not much. I don't really remember. It was all a blur.
What would be some of the advice you would have for Kurtz tonight as he makes his Major League debut?
He's just got to be himself. Other than that, he doesn't need my advice. Just keep doing what he's doing.
Yeah, some guys, wasn't that long ago, and they don't remember.
Well, yeah, especially Geloff was 2 years ago, like less than 2 years ago. And Butler was like the same time. He was like a month after him. TJ McFarland a while ago. And Shea Langoliers was a few years ago, too. 22, right?
Shea Langoliers?
2020, yeah, because he came up to the Futures game.
I just remember Texas. He was just ripped every single time he faces the team that he grew up watching, the Texas Rangers. He just lights it up. It's like unbelievable.
He's like Babe Ruth at their ballpark.
Oh, it's like, can you play every game here? Hopefully, he can do it tonight. I'm excited. I really am. And if you're able to watch this, if you heard it, but if you're able to watch this and you're able to watch David Forst, you can tell he's really excited. Because like I keep saying, they're getting all this data that really tells you what you need to know about the players. It's what has changed over the years. You'd have the AAA manager tell you how good things were going. You could have scouts there looking at it. But now you're just getting this true data of what the guy does, whether it's a hitter, it's a pitcher. The data that you care about, the data that you think that's real, and it's able to be. The StatCast stuff, that's why we're all on Baseball Savant all day long, and we're looking at stuff. So you see if the guy is the real deal. So he agreed to that. He agreed. And I've been trying to say it to all of you guys. You know, it's just not about what scouts are saying in reports anymore. It's like we're getting this knowledge of what this player can do on a daily basis, and this stuff is telling the story, and the story's saying he's ready to come up here now, and they want to win now. This is not about holding the guy back for his free agency clock. This is not pushing anybody back because you're worried about the Super 2. This is we want to win now, and this guy gives us a great chance to win. And we're going to do what's best, and that's what you want from your organization. And you know what? If Tyler Soderstrom's got to go to left field and Andujar didn't play tonight, or Andujar's got to start playing third, did you see how he skated the question about Andujar taking ground balls at third?
Yes. We have boots on the ground everywhere.
David, we got eyes. We got eyes everywhere. A's Cast is like an octopus. We've got tentacles everywhere. We're always watching. There's nothing you get past us.
He did say one thing. David did say that I wanted to jump on and tell you guys, but he said I don't know how many days it is since we drafted him, but I believe it's 283 days after he got drafted. He'd be here. It's the 6th fastest player in franchise history to reach the big leagues in terms of dates.
No one's beaten Mike Morgan.
Well, no, he was 5 days.
Nick Kurtz was in class at this time last year playing for Wake Forest. He was in class, and he's now in the big leagues. The great ones don't need time. The great ones don't need time. Let's pause for station identification right here on A's Cast. It's been a great show. Tyler Ferguson, Darren Bush, David Forst. Let's get it going. The Nick Kurtz era starts today.
It's going to be exciting. Him in the 7-hole. I mean, we didn't really go over the lineup. It's Butler and Wright, Rooker DHing. You don't want me to do the lineup?
A 7-hole for Kurtz.
Rooker DHing in two spot. Soderstrom left field. Langler's catching. Blade in center. Jacob Wilson at short. Kurtz in the 7 spot at first. Gio Urshela at third in the 8 spot. And Luis Urias batting 9th and playing second base. JP Sears on the mound.
Max Muncy no longer here, so he got his taste. He'll go down. Got to figure it out. Game was a little fast for him. But Zach Geloff's coming back, and Zach Geloff is the second baseman of the future.
Yes, and I did tell David Forst that if there is a certain player in Las Vegas, if he ever comes up, I get to break the news when he gets called up. He laughed and said, okay. So, Martine, I'm beating you on the scoop on that one.
Who?
Logan Davidson, if he ever comes up.
I talked to Henry Bolte today. Our buddy, now you're breaking me?
Yeah, now we got to go.
Now we got to go. Tomorrow, I had a conversation with my guy from Palo Alto High, 2nd-round pick, Henry Bolte. I said, envision this is you because it's going to be you soon. My guy Henry's doing well with Midland. Road Trip Mike gave me the phone. We talked. You know how much I like Henry Bolte. I think he's going to be a big part of this team. Yeah, so we're in Midland today. We're talking to guys in Midland. We're watching David Forst, what he's doing behind the scenes in Milwaukee. A's Cast is everywhere. And we covered Nick Kurtz for 2 days. It's time for the Nick Kurtz era to start. All right, Johnny D and Ken Korak will get you ready on the A's Radio Network and A's Cast. We'll be back tomorrow at 4:30. Who do we have?
So far, Emo, and I'm efforting to get us Luis Severino on the program.
Okay, that would be awesome.
And we've been talking to him since spring, so.
All righty, and then I'll be back at 6:30 with Steve Sachs for A's Cast on NBC Sports California. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching to A's Cast Live.
Here's the pitch, and it's a hit. Folsom Lake Ford has stepped up again, winning the Triple Crown Award, Ford Motor Company's highest honor, now 7 years in a row. Folsom Lake Ford is a top sales leader in the U.S., along with being top in customer satisfaction, in sales, service, and finance. Now that's a home run. Don't miss the huge savings on your favorite models at your truck headquarters. Folsom Lake Ford, in the Folsom Auto Mall.
This has been a presentation of The Athletics.